My mom slept with my bully's dad to stop the school bullying, but now my bully is demanding an apology from me and goes crazy, leading to her arrest. I made this account purely and exclusively to vent and talk about my life without people knowing who I am. I am currently 30 years old and my mom is 51. I love her very much even though she wasn't always the best. And when I say she wasn't the best, I don't mean abusive or negligent in the way many people here talk about their mothers. She had many mental health problems while growing up, depression, some paranoia, and what doctors called intermittent psychosis, but nothing was ever formally diagnosed in court other than that she wasn't fit to be a full-time mother. So when I was about 4 or 5 years old, the court gave full custody to my 57-year-old dad and recommended supervised visits for my mom. She didn't fight it and accepted this because she knew it was best for me. It was probably the first solid act of parenting she did for me, but she never completely disappeared. Birthdays, parties, school events, she showed up when she could. Sometimes she missed things and I would get very sad, but my dad always reminded me that my mom was sick and it wasn't my fault. They tried to keep it as least traumatic as possible, and honestly, I handled it well. Of course, I wanted my mother full-time, but as I grew older, I understood that she did it for my own good and that she performed a great act of love by prioritizing my well-being over her desire to have me close when she knew it could be dangerous. That was until my bully, whom I'll call Kim, also 30, got involved. Kim and I were in the same class from 2nd to 5th grade. She was one of those girls who always had a small group around her. At first, I wasn't exactly her target. She bothered everyone and didn't discriminate, at least in that sense, because she also discriminated against anyone who looked different. But in 3rd grade, she found out that I lived alone with my dad, and suddenly she started, "Your mommy didn't want you. Your mom must be crazy. Why didn't your mom even fight for you? She surely doesn't love you." Once it started, everything escalated quickly. She once made a fake Mother's Day card from me to my mom, but it read, "To the lady who left." She gave it to me during recess and said she had helped me make a gift for my mother. I came home crying. My dad was furious, went to school and spoke with the principal, the counselor, with everyone he could to get to the bottom of the matter. But Kim was always careful. Her tone was sweet in front of adults. The breaking point was when I came home one day with blue paint and glue all over my hair. We were doing art, and Kim accidentally spilled her materials on me. Everyone laughed, but no one helped or spoke up for me. I cried all the way home on the bus. My dad almost lost control when he saw me. By this point, you'll realize he was very protective of me. He wanted to go to school again, but he didn't want to tell my mom, saying it would only make things worse. He thought she would lose control, either overreact or blame herself and isolate. But she came that weekend for a supervised visit, and when she saw my head, which still had some paint that hadn't come off completely, she stared and started asking questions like, "Who did this? What's their full name? Do you know what their parents look like? What car do they drive?" I didn't think much of it because I was a child and I liked that my mother cared about me. My dad finally took me out of that school a few weeks later and transferred me to another district. Life went on and Kim became just another ugly memory. And then the following summer, my mom surprised us with a trip to Disney in Florida. She paid for everything: flight, hotel, even one of those character breakfasts I had always wanted to try. It was probably the happiest I had seen her in years. It seemed like she was genuinely doing well and we looked like a family. At the same time, I had already removed Kim from my life. So this was probably the best life I had known to date. Fast forward to about 2 months ago. I moved into a new apartment complex. I get along with some people, but I don't know everyone. There's a guy who lives 2 floors up who's nice and with whom I sometimes chat when we cross paths. It's usually when I have to do laundry. We talk about unimportant things. Then one day, I was getting out of my car and heard someone call my name. I turned around and there was Kim. At first, I didn't recognize her because a lot of time had passed. She didn't start with a greeting, she went straight to the point. "You and your mom ruined my life." Honestly, I thought she had mistaken me for someone else, but no. She told me who she was, and then obviously I realized. She said she recognized me as soon as she saw me in the complex and hesitated whether to talk to me or not, but now that she saw me again, she couldn't stay silent. According to her, my mom had an affair with her dad. Not just any affair. Kim said, "Your mom showed up at my birthday party, called my dad aside, and exposed everything in front of everyone." She said her mom went crazy and threw the cake against the wall, and that was the end of their family. They sold the house. Custody battle, a total disaster. Kim told me she hasn't celebrated her birthday since then because she was traumatized, as were her parents. I didn't even know how to respond. I just left. That night, I told my mom what happened, fully expecting her to deny it. I thought maybe Kim was making things up for sympathy or whatever. We know what she's capable of. But my mom just said, "Yes, that happened." I didn't even know what to say. She told me it had hurt her a lot not being able to do anything when I was being bullied. She said seeing me like that with glue in my hair and crying because I don't remember it, but apparently when I told her I was crying was the most helpless she had ever felt in her life. So she found out who Kim's parents were and got a little revenge. According to her, she was already talking to Kim's dad before and things escalated. She says she didn't plan for it to be on Kim's birthday, but it just happened that way. Then she dropped another bombshell. The money she used to take us to Disney came from Kim's dad. At that moment, I just looked at her, not because I was surprised she did it, but because she told me so casually, as if it were a detail I forgot to ask. I asked her if she felt at least a little bad for destroying an entire family over a girl's drama. Her exact words were, if Kim didn't want her world burned down, she shouldn't have lit the match. She said Kim's dad approached her after he knew who she was because she obviously talked to him to make his daughter stop bullying me, and he already had problems at home, according to her. They started seeing each other. Things became physical, and when she realized it coincided with Kim's birthday, she thought it would be a good message. She even said the phrase, now she knows what it feels like to have something ripped away from you. She said it as if it were a lesson Kim needed to learn. I didn't say anything else that night. I told her I needed space and she just nodded. She said she understood but still defended what she did. I didn't want to just take her word for it, so I investigated. It turns out yes. It really happened as Kim said. Apparently it was one of those rich kids' backyard parties where the whole neighborhood showed up. And halfway through the event, Kim's dad went inside the house and never came back out. The next thing people saw was her mom screaming in the driveway. They sold the house in 6 months. The divorce was finalized the following year. Kim's mom got full custody and moved 2 towns away. So yes, my mom didn't make it up. Neither did Kim. The thing is, I didn't even feel sorry for her when I found out about everything. I just felt annoyed. Annoyed that she had the nerve to come now, as if I were the monster, as if I had to drop everything and beg for forgiveness just because her dad was exposed. Since then, she has tried to corner me a couple more times. Once she stood by the mailboxes and tried to give me a letter. She said it explained what her family went through. I didn't accept it. I told her, you tortured a child for years and now you want to act like I owe you something. She started screaming that I had sent a crazy woman after her family and that I at least owed her an apology. I told her she should be grateful my mom didn't do something worse. She left furious. Later that night, her boyfriend came down to talk to me. He told me Kim was a mess and that all of this was affecting her deeply. I asked him directly if she had told him how she had bullied me as a child. He said no. I offered to tell him my side, but he refused because he was very angry. He said a few things to me, and the neighbor I mentioned earlier intervened and managed to get him to leave. The administration hasn't gotten involved as there hasn't been anything physical, but I've documented everything just in case. As for my mom, it's complicated. I've definitely distanced myself. I told her it was wrong to get involved in that way, that she could have filed complaints or made visits to the school or whatever, not sleep with someone's dad and destroy a marriage. She said, the school wasn't listening and I wasn't going to stand by idly. Besides, it's not like I forced him. I did what I had to do. She still feels no remorse and I'm not trying to force her to. But now people in my life are weighing in. My cousin who was close to my mom growing up thinks I should apologize on behalf of my mom. She says it's the mature thing to do, that it's not about agreeing with Kim, but showing that I don't agree with what happened to her family. My best friend says that's nonsense. She said her father was probably unfaithful with other people, or would eventually be, that it's the best karma because she ended up getting punished for the very thing she was bullying about. In similar words, she said, what did she think was going to happen, that karma would arrive gently? My dad hasn't commented much. He just said, we weren't together so it hasn't harmed me. And Kim's parents aren't very innocent either because they didn't do much the first time I complained that their daughter was bullying you. Kim hasn't even acknowledged what she did. She still acts as if she's the only one who lost something. She still pretends she was an innocent child who was a victim of cruelty. It's not that I love what my mom did. I'm not applauding her, but I'm also not going to approach the girl who made my childhood a living hell and tell her I'm sorry because my mom turned into Eric Cartman and enacted twisted revenge on you. So yes, that's where I am, and honestly, I'm tired of dwelling on it and hearing about it from people who know me. I want impartial third-party opinions. Am I the bad guy for not apologizing? Comments. Your mom is a legend. She's a real-life punisher. Are you sure she has mental problems because she's a genius? She aimed focused and shot right where it hurt. Kim bullied you for years and laughed while you cried, and her family did absolutely nothing. It's the most beautiful revenge I've ever read. She literally left a child and 2 adults crying for making you cry with bullying. If I had a picture of your mother, I would carry it in my wallet all the time, so that when I feel bad, I look at her and say, there are people out there who make bullies suffer. You didn't sleep with her dad. You didn't ask your mom to go nuclear, which I think was the best thing. As a mother of a girl, If that happened to my daughter, I wouldn't sleep with the bully's father to teach her a lesson. First, because I'm a married woman, but second, because it probably would have ended in a massacre. What your mother did was more elegant and has had fewer legal consequences for everyone. Kim can suck it up or go cry in church, but if she came to me with that nonsense, I would probably give her a quick punch to the nose so she'd have more reasons to cry and probably a good kick when she falls to the ground. Update 1. Hello Reddit, I'm back with an update. First of all, thank you for all the support on my previous post. I thought I'd get a few responses, but I wasn't prepared for the volume or how validated the comments made me feel, nor how funny some of them sounded even if they were quite serious. It was honestly the first time I felt like someone truly understood that whole chapter of my life, as many have also gone through bullying situations. Well, it turns out Kim or someone close to her saw the post. I didn't mention her name, the apartment complex, or any specific details that would identify her, but it seems the combination of facts was enough for her to realize. A couple of days after the post, I came home from work and found a handwritten note taped to my apartment door, without an envelope, just taped for all to see. It said, "You and your psycho mother are sociopaths. You're still obsessed with me posting my trauma on Reddit like it's a damn game. You ruined my life and now you're making me relive it. I hope it was worth it." Just like that. I removed it and put it in a drawer. I thought maybe that would be the end of it, but no. 2 days later, I went out in the morning and found a deep scratch on the driver's side of my car. It wasn't a random parking scratch. It started from the side mirror and went across both doors. And just below the driver's handle, someone had scratched the letter B. That's when my patience ran out. I went directly to the building management. They checked the security cameras, and yes, there she was around midnight with her hood up, but her face still visible from a side angle approaching my car doing the damage and calmly returning to her boyfriend's apartment as if nothing had happened. Management contacted the police. I filed a report. They asked if I wanted to press charges, and my little self, now grown up, said a big yes. I don't care how much trauma she claims to have. She crossed a line. We're not in elementary school anymore. You can't destroy someone's property just because it bothers you that they shared their story online. Besides, we weren't in school where they don't do much. The police took the video and the report. The boyfriend tried to play dumb when they knocked on his door. He said she didn't live there, that she only visited sometimes. But as soon as they showed him the video, he stopped talking. In short, she was formally accused of vandalism, a misdemeanor. Management issued her a restraining order from the complex and said if she appears again, they will call the police immediately. Her boyfriend still lives here for now, but I haven't seen Kim since. I had to pay for the car repair out of pocket because the deductible was barely less than the cost of the damage, but I've already spoken with a lawyer to send her the expenses, or we'll go to court. I told my mom everything, with whom I've now become closer. She laughed at all this and said that her revenge had been too mild, that it should have been a bit more enough so that Kim wouldn't have wanted to bother again. Then she said, "It seems she's still a spoiled brat and hasn't lost the sense of entitlement her parents instilled in her. No wonder even her father isn't good for a romance, because sex with him was the most boring thing." I replied, "Mother, I don't need more details." I told her I had pressed charges and she thought it was quite good. She said these are the things I shouldn't let slide and that this was the most mature thing to do, to hit them with the full weight of the law. Finally, she closed it with, "Good, that spoiled brat will learn once and for all." I asked her, "What have you done with my mother, and why do you sound like a 1930s mobster?" We haven't talked much about the subject since then. I think we're both tired of Kim, the drama of still talking about her family who are one worse than the other. I'm still not done processing how I feel about my mom's revenge plan at the time, but after this I'm in no hurry to apologize for it. As for the rest of my circle, most have been very understanding. My cousin, the one who originally told me to apologize on behalf of my mom, changed her mind very quickly when I told her about the car. Bullying a child, no, but when it comes to material things, then yes. She said that Kim has clearly been cryogenically frozen, as if she were the same age as when she bullied me. Only one person tried to defend her, Kim's doormat boyfriend, who tried to contact me after the police arrived. He told me through this door that I was probably as crazy as my mother. That's why I did these things. I didn't answer him and waited for him to leave. I'm not here to be the emotional support dog for the same girl who laughed while putting glue in my hair and who now as an adult scratched my car. It's not my fault that she had a screwed up head long before my mother did what she did. If he wants to be able to be with her in the apartment, he'll have to find another. So yes, that's how things are. No, I didn't apologize because I have no intention of doing so. I didn't ask my mom to destroy her family. It was a decision she made on her own. I didn't even know it had happened until much later. Kim's pain is real, but mine was too. So I don't feel sorry for her, or for her unfaithful father, or for her mother who did nothing to make her stop bullying me at school. To those who said my mom's revenge was on another level, yes, you're not wrong, it was crazy. But even if it wasn't the most convenient thing, it was her way of telling that family, don't mess with my daughter. And even if it wasn't healthy or correct, at least someone stood up for me. We'll see if Kim at least agrees to pay for the car repairs, or if we'll have to take this to court. But what I am very sure of is that I won't let it slide just because she has a problem with my mom. I still have a problem with her for the things she did as a child, and now this is even worse. Comments. Look, I'm not saying Kim handled this well. Clearly she didn't, but you literally sat back and laughed while your mom destroyed someone's family and then posted it online like it was some revenge fantasy. It's disgusting. To be honest, your mom used an affair as a weapon to harm a child. That's not justice. That's pure cruelty. You're not responsible for your mom's actions, of course, but the arrogant tone you're taking now is quite bad. Yes, I'm sorry, but your update makes you sound too satisfied with all of this. It's one thing to defend yourself as a child and feel justified now, but it's another to be an adult celebrating that your mom broke up a marriage and a child's life. I'm not defending Kim's behavior at the time, but your mom was an adult woman attacking a 10-year-old child. That's not cool. That's disturbing, and you're backing it up as if it were justice. It doesn't look good. Update 2. I know there are some comments that disagree with me, as if I had sent my mother to do this as revenge, as if I had sat at my little girl's table and given orders to my mother to do what she did, as if I were in The Godfather. Well, if you haven't realized it yet, I just came to tell my story. I didn't mock Kim, even though I have reasons to, and I simply recounted the things she has done to me in the past and now. I wish people would put the same effort into stopping bullying instead of defending bullies. Perhaps bullying would be less common. I don't have to give you those defending her in the comments here more information about the things she has done to me just so you can feel satisfied with yourselves. But what I do have is what justice has done against Kim for her personal attacks on me, which are considered crimes in case you didn't know. Things that many of these commentators have decided to ignore to focus on something I didn't do. I know how difficult it is to reason with someone like Kim, so it must be futile to do so with people who defend her. Let's start with the car expenses. She finally agreed to pay for the damages and has given me a check, or rather did so through her lawyer, with which I recovered all the money I spent on the repairs. She tried to settle for a lower amount because she believed the damages couldn't have cost that much, but she did it with a sharp object, leaving a very deep mark that wasn't easily fixed. My lawyer responded that we would only accept the full amount, including the new fees for responding to her proposal, so she had no choice but to accept because otherwise we would go to court. As for the charges I filed, the prosecutor offered her a deal, a criminal record and community service, which she also decided to accept. I don't think it was an easy negotiation for the prosecutor, but the alternative was probation and a fine. I don't know what kind of community service she got, but I hope it was one where she had to suffer. I still don't care that she suffered for what my mother did. That was not my responsibility. This is, and I hope she's not enjoying it in the slightest. I'm sorry for those who support Save Kim, but I never heard an apology from her for what she herself did to me directly. Unlike third-party things which I didn't even know about until recently. Something else I learned in our casual chats during laundry is that Kim's boyfriend moved out of the complex. Kim was prohibited from entering the place and he couldn't receive her as a visitor. I suppose that's why, but the truth is, he has moved and no longer lives in the same apartment. I know because I saw a couple leaving there and saw him loading his things into a moving truck. With this, I think I can close this story. I will no longer have direct contact with Kim because she cannot enter here and knows perfectly well that another report and lawsuit would not be the smartest thing. Nor will there be indirect contact as her boyfriend, or perhaps he's no longer her boyfriend. I don't know. Also left. And for those who said I should follow my mother's tradition and sleep with her boyfriend as the final revenge, that's not my way of acting. My way of doing it is to use legal means, which I would have liked the school to use when I was a child. At least when you're an adult and have access to lawyers, they do work, and they work very well to show bullies that such behavior has no place in adult life. M.